Canadians may be most familiar with the Afghan mission through images and stories in the news, but the realities of war have also been captured in a unique way by others who didn't carry a weapon, yet still got close to the action. Deanna Sumanak now with The Art of War.
Those are his lucky boots that brought him home alive. Yeah.
Suzanne Steele treasures the mementos of her tour in Afghanistan.
And they make these out of gun tape and a water bottle.
There, her nickname was PL, short for Poet Laureate. She was the first poet to accompany the soldiers in Afghanistan as part of the Canadian Forces Artists Program.
These are my notebooks that I would...
She lived with the soldiers from Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry and recorded their experiences in verse.
Silence is a man's silence the night before he dies. Only crackle, radio net, the CP pulling another all-nighter. Otherwise silence across a mud-walled village, no calls to prayer.
Far from the lush greenery of her native Victoria, Steele wore the uniform, slept in the barracks, even flew in a military helicopter.
I have to say I was really, really afraid until I got into that Chinook and we took off and I went, you know what, this is in God's hands, you know, and it was the most incredible flight of my life, knowing that, you know, indeed, one could be shot down at any moment. There's a certain height of aliveness.
The tradition of artists accompanying Canadian soldiers to war to immortalize their experiences goes back to the First and Second World War. Most often, they were painters.
One of the least known jobs in the Army is that of official war artist.
Painter Gertrude Kearns is a part of that tradition. She became interested in the subject matter of war during the conflicts in Rwanda and Somalia. But when the military asked her to paint the images of the war in Afghanistan by actually going there, she jumped at the chance.
Having known what the battlefield is like has allowed me to feel really connected to what's still going on, and being privy to their feelings on the subject is something I really appreciate, and I think feeds into what the nature of the portraits.
This touring exhibit of war art features images by some of Canada's best-known painters like A.Y. Jackson and Alex Colville. But it's Gertrude Kearns' disturbing images of wounded soldiers that have drawn the strongest reaction. This curator isn't surprised. She says that in an age when the audience can rely on TV and the internet to see the more realistic images of war, they look to artists for something else.
It's not that interesting to us to have just purely realistic documentary art. We want to feel something when we look at a painting, and that's what these artists are dealing with.
What artists today are also dealing with is a perception by some of their peers that what they're doing is not art, but propaganda. Just ask Suzanne Steele.
I had quite a well-known poet come up to me and literally put his face this close to mine and say, "What the F are you doing telling these guys effing story? They get the front page of the effing newspaper every day."
Steele maintains she was given full artistic liberty to write what she saw.
I have never been told once by anyone in the military what to write about, where I can publish, what I can do. Not once. My words can give Lieutenant Nuttall's family comfort.
Like Kearns, Steele sees her work as bearing witness, and it's a job she's happy to do for the rest of her life.
Delta Company's 5 that didn't come home.
Every day she wears this bracelet with the names of her friends, soldiers who have lost their lives. As the combat mission comes to an end, Steele's mission continues, writing words she hopes will help Canadians remember what the soldiers went through.